It is what it is. You guys catch anything today? I made a little money on Netflix of all things, but that was it from me. Just kind of hanging out here watching what Spy is going to do at low of the day. It was like bond, like treasury news. It's honestly not stuff I keep up with a lot, but enough to move the markets this much, Coyote. So kind of interesting. You could, I would suggest looking it up. Yeah, it was the bond auction. That's what it was. Thanks, Breckle. But yeah, crazy, crazy. Would like to see things rebound here. I just, I had some good upside setups I wanted to trade with you guys this week, but now those are going to be a bit far. So we got to wait now, which sucks, but patience pays. Now we just got to let the market make its way back up. Ideally, you can make some nickels and dimes here and there and then wait for the big trade. Before I get into anything, do you guys have some questions? This is my second to last free lesson with you guys, man. So get your questions in. By my last day, for anyone that doesn't know, is May 30th. I'm going to trade at a trading firm. Latvian. That podcast was pretty good, but I think it hinted, well, honestly, the whole thing was about like collaboration, and that's what I've talked about a lot with you guys, just kind of how insane the amount of collaboration is. It's something that I never thought I'd get there, but the amount of money there is crazy. Is there a party for me? I don't know. Obviously the final stream of any week is that Friday into day stream. So that'll be my last ever live stream with y'all until at least probably not ever. I'm sure I'll hop on some others in the future, but anyways, yeah, that'll be my final one with like the team, I think, for a little bit. So maybe that'll be my party. What do you think about PLTR? I was in the swing option, but now everything dumped. Torn between cutting or waiting to see if a rebound. Yeah, so look, any of my swings that I'd call out, you guys have to understand like your personal risk tolerance. Obviously, like I'm red on the swing, but I was in with a pretty small position size. So I ended up adding, a little bit at 125, and then I ended up adding a couple contracts on that dip, right? So obviously there's a little bit bigger red number than I had anticipated this quickly. But when you get an opportunity like that when the entire market dumps, I still think the trade is intact. However, I'm not going to just hold this until oblivion, right? I don't want to see another low of the day. But when you get a chance like this, when contracts lose, half their value in a matter of like, an hour, sometimes in trading, you got to be able to deal with stress. And you got to be able to deal with pain, right? If you freak out when the market does this stuff, you could get caught really easily. And why would I make a decision when I'm looking to hold something for a week or two at a time and make a decision in 5 minutes? So that's just my thought on it. I did catch Netflix this morning. I did catch a little bit of a SPY bounce today. Wow, look at this. Market's dumping here again. So like I'm making up for the loss that I'm having on PLTR. So do I still believe in the trade? Yeah, maybe the trade happens in a few weeks and not by in the next few days, and that's okay, right? I'll take my loss here, and then I will move on and catch it whenever it's ready to go. Okay, so that's just kind of the way that I look at this. Obviously, again, it sucks being red, but what I'm down right now is a typical day trade for me. So that means that I'm positioning myself the right way. But other than that, yeah, SPY new lows. Let's see what happens here. This could be an interesting power hour, guys. But you cut your PLTO. Yeah, for you're in this week expiration, so I can only imagine what those contracts went to if mine are down like 50%. but I may add in the close. I don't know. I don't want to keep adding, because we could sell off more overnight. I'm still surprised at how far we've come down on that news. Breckle, what's your take on that? Do you think that this could start? I mean, we do have a pretty decent gap on SPY, but it doesn't start until 577 ish. So I mean, could we come down there? Sure. It's going to mess up PLTR. Obviously, it's going to pull the whole market down. Yeah, that's what it seems like for sure. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just cut PLTR at the end of the day. We'll see what happens. But anyways, whoever asked about PLTR, it's honestly it's about your risk tolerance. If we didn't get this news, I think PLTR was trading pretty well. So far, it's not doing good these last 2 hours. But let's see what I talked about earlier, which is and I sent that announcement later today about this lesson. I did want to go over some setups that I liked. Like I keep talking about PLTR. I like that, but now it's just kind of screwed up. This is coming down quite a bit. So I think you guys probably understand the trade there until now. All-time high break, pull back into 125, held that, kind of created some sort of a flag here. And, I was just looking for buyers to hold this. I do think there was a lot of people coming in and buying this that are now caught, which is kind of creating this. I think a lot of people are long on a lot of stocks recently, which is creating this kind of violent sell-off here because people are getting stopped out. But, another one like today, I traded Netflix, like I said, it was kind of the same thing. All-time high break, kind of flags, consolidates a little bit, and then, right around that 1200 level, broke through that. That's all I caught. Kind of weird. Price action was kind of gross today in the morning, but I bought on the second candle of the day and held it for 1200. Just one contract, nothing crazy. Y'all didn't miss much. Ended up going to 1211 today. So very interesting. One sec. But other than that, yeah, I mean that's really all I have. PLTR new low, NQ, ES are just absolutely dying here. Nvidia down 131, Tesla 333, UNH 304. Let's see, I'm gonna buy a few more UNH right here. Just some shares. Let's see, another one that I was looking at, like HIMS look good. It's just, a lot of these setups, like I said, guys, that I wanted to talk to you about, they're now kind of screwed up. But when they come back to these levels, it should be good. Apple had some news today. OpenAI bought the company that designed the iPhone, right? Apple built them, but I guess, just like someone would design a logo, they designed the Apple iPhone. So that sold that off, right? My trade was at 215. This is now down at 200. So now I wait. And let's see, there's one other one. Talked about PLTR, HIMS, Netflix. Even Nvidia looked good around 137. Broke that today, barely. And then obviously this news came out. So this is where risk management definitely comes into play, guys. So I hope that y'all are doing okay. Are there any questions, guys? I don't really have much else for you. Typically my free lessons are for y'all to, ask me stuff if you have anything. So what's up? Let's see if we got any new faces in here. Dave Indy, McNulty, haven't seen you in a while. DeLorean, Gary, Shin. What's up, everybody? What a crazy move here, though. Jeez. How did y'all do today? Anyone catch anything that was good? Let's see. Didn't Lee live traded today? What did he trade? Yeah, 120 is definitely this next major support. It's got to hold here. I don't want to give it much more. I'll probably give it overnight, unless we just completely just die here. But I want to give it a little bit of room. Spies on trend line. Yeah, I mean, we're coming into some major supports, right? So this is where I would think you'd see some sort of a bounce. However, if these supports get taken out, it's just going to create even more selling. So, I don't want you just blindly buying into this stuff. But typically when you have market news like this, it does give opportunity. It's risky, right? Chasing lows or chasing highs in general, but I do think that I know it kind of sucks that in. But man, we had some great breakout setups to the upside that are now ruined. Down 2% on the Dow. Let's see what else is going on here. Trump met with South Africa's president. Did y'all see that video today? He made so they're sitting in, I guess, the Oval Office, and Trump puts on a video of I didn't know exactly who was in the video, but basically just South Africans talking about killing any white South African people. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Breckle or Stickman, but it was something like that. It was and the president was like totally stunned, and Trump was like pointing at the screen, like making him watch it. So that was kind of crazy. Yeah, that was it. It was just some South African leaders, but in Trump fashion, Little relief bounce here. Let's see if we roll back over. 58.50 was an important level on SPX. So kind of retesting that now. Starting to roll back over a little bit. PLTR coming in for 120. It's kind of interesting. There's a big wall there. So what did Lee trade today with y'all at market open? Anything? Is there anyone in that? You left the stream, okay. $120 here on PLTR. Oh, really? Well, I know like Pookie does sometimes, but yeah, I don't know. Blue Brain on YouTube. Any opinion on snow earnings? No, I don't have any opinion on snow earnings. I would like to see them go up, but I don't. I never trade earnings. I've been sidelined on snow for like over a year, maybe 2 years even, because I'm waiting for this 195 break here above 200 into that gap. To me, that's where there could be a pretty nice opportunity for this to really start moving in that gap. So for me, look, I'm a day trader. I'm not really going to try to anticipate any sort of earnings plays or anything like that. But yeah, their earnings are today after the close. So that could be interesting. So in about 40 minutes. Went over SPY. Nice. Wow, look at that. Dropping more here. You have a question. When a key level is broken and tested, but then you have something like this, a major sell-off does seem to be impactful as much. Let's see. Same will be as impactful. So obviously, whenever the moves are quick and there's like a catalyst, stickman. I mean, those levels are gonna mean a lot. I think regardless, but when there's just a lot of volume in the market, like for example here on let's see if I can pull up SPY. Look at this. When there's just a lot of volume in the market, you're not really gonna get, like typically they'll just kind of slice through those levels. So I mean, sure they could bounce there, or they can go right through. It's just more of an entire market move rather than like I don't know. For example, like if the market was just if I wanted to trade 1,200 on Netflix, okay, and the market had some good news and everything was just absolutely ripping, just flying up to 1,200. Yeah, 1,200 is still a key level, but it's to me it's not going to be as impactful and as good of a breakout if it goes from like 1185 straight through 1,200, right, without some sort of bull flag into that level or some sort of structure into that level, if that makes sense, because it'll just slice right through it and not really give it a chance to kind of set up and then really pop through it. But I could also argue my point there as well. I don't know. That's an interesting question, but I think the scenarios, it just kind of depends on the scenario. Netflix holding up real well though, basically break even on the day compared to everything else. That's pretty wild. Um, Tesla new lows, SPY going for another new low, Nvidia almost at 130. This is crazy to me. This is like an overreaction, but we'll see what happens throughout the end of the week. I don't know. Does anyone have any opinion on this sell off here? Do y'all think it's an overreaction? I think there's a reason for the market to come down on that news, but I don't think that there's a reason for this kind of a move. Uh, this quickly. I feel like I don't know. Market is propped up, kind of spooked a lot of people. I feel like so maybe that's a factor for sure. Yeah, Stickman definitely. Yeah, second round of sellout I think is just just coming into the close of the day. We didn't really see an aggressive bounce on things, and with already some selling pressure, all it took was a little bit of a push here, and then it'll just give up again. That's just kind of the nature of it. I went and bought a Herman Miller chair today, and if anyone's ever sat in one, it's worth every penny. I feel like it's like the best chair I've ever had. Yesterday was Vixpiration. That probably unpinned a lot of volume. Yeah, I've never heard of Vixpiration. What is that? Look that up. Vix Exploration. Interesting. I've heard of like quad witching and like OPEC or whatever. OPEX, that's right. But not Vixpiration. So yeah, maybe that was a factor. I don't know. What do we got here? We still got about 30 minutes into the close. So I believe there's going to be an earnings stream today for Snow. Yeah, so I'll hop off right at market close. So Pool can take over that. But kind of a crazy end of the day here, guys. Yeah, all good, Chris. Take care. What else you guys got? Anyone take other trades today? You guys are quiet. Onron, Rado, Princess D, Sailor Brown, Latvian. Jag, how we doing, guys? Too busy at work. All right. When do you move, Breckle? We also have, I think Powell speaks on Friday still. At least on Monday, that's what I saw. Let me double check that real quick. Sunday. What? Sunday, May 25th. That's really weird. Oh, okay, nice. You're just kind of going slow. That's always good. I had to move out all my stuff yesterday from my college, all the furniture at least. That's always super, super fun, you know? Are you going to sell it? You're going to keep it? That's good, Rado. Yeah. I'd rather you not force trades and learn something. Yeah, well, if you don't have to sell it, then rent that thing out. Yeah, that's that's true. This is wild though, man. New low on SPY. I hate seeing all my stocks just bloody red. Middle of the day too. So, to me, when I see a move like that on just, some economic data that comes out frequently, it had to have been a pretty big surprise. But is anyone struggling with anything, or are you guys doing good? Want to make this LTR hold 120. I don't know what y'all are talking about, sick man. What do you mean? about the surprise news. Yeah, big bull. Don't bag hold that, man. Like everyone has different risk tolerances with swings. You don't think so, Breckle? Okay. Oh yeah. Um, I don't really care which way it goes. I mean, I would rather it go up just for my sake of for day trades, but who knows? For June 6th. Okay, so you got a little bit more time on that. Why? On what happened? Is that just personal preference, or are you struggling with something? Oh well, what makes you want to trade zero DTEs? Is it the fast movement of them, or are you trying to regain losses, or what's the deal? Oh, they're cheap. Okay. So what if they're cheap? Do you buy a lot of them, or are you actually just regain losses too? Yeah. Okay. Well, a couple things to help fix that is having having like a trade count limit. And obviously like a risk limit, right? No matter how good you are at trading, every professional trader has a risk limit. It doesn't matter if you make $25 million a year or you make $25 a year. You need to have some sort of risk limit in mind. But like once I remember in the beginning, right? There's just those days where you just blow up, right? You just take huge losses. And once I got to that point where I just stuck to my size, right? You got to just find that size and where you're comfortable and where that psychologically you can make the right decisions and not get too emotional. That's when you can kind of start coasting, right? Big losses, small gains. To me, that means you're either that probably means you're sized too heavily, but I could be wrong. Obviously, there's different avenues there. But if you're sized too heavily, you're going to be, you're going to want to take that profit really quickly, but you're also not going to want to sell your losers as fast, right? Because you don't like seeing that bigger red number that you're not comfortable with. Yeah, I mean that's like what probably the biggest problem for new traders, right? They don't know how to lose correctly. So it just comes down to like when are you gonna actually make the effort to fix that mistake. But I'm here to help you. So trade count, have a very strict loss limit, maybe stay away from zero DTEs. Write down your trades like I tell you, write down your ideas. Only take very very a setup trades, high odds trades. Don't look for the random bounce in the middle of the day. Random breakout on SPY. Something that helped me was, sure, sometimes I get fancy and do, trades that I don't typically take, right? Just depending on what the market's doing. But I think what helped me a lot with, risk wise was, I maybe have like five boxes I need to check for like an A+ setup, right? And if one of them is checked and the other four are not, then that's not a reason to take that trade, right? No matter what trade it is. If I want to trade Netflix, I need to see volume. I need to see a good chart setup. I need to see, ideally a catalyst, a wall on level 2 or whatnot, a key level. Like all those things to me, like need to be checked off. But if all I see is volume and I just buy, that's not enough for me to take that trade. And I'm not willing to lose money on that. It's also another thing you should ask yourself before every trade: am I willing to lose money on this? You know. Yeah, that's great. That's great. I mean, I hate that I'm leaving at the end of next week, but I'll still be in touch with you guys. But yeah, I mean, that's great. A 3% plan a day. Even a 2%. Don't if you're up 2% on the day, don't try to force another trade to get you that 3%. You know what I mean? But getting around that 3% area will at least kind of frame you up a little bit, right? So you won't lose more than three. And if you're ever up close to three or above three, you can call it a day. Yeah, I know, Chad. Little bounce on PLTR, little bounce on the market. Coming in here to close. We got about 25 minutes until close. I don't know. But let's see. So live trading tomorrow morning with you guys. I got my coaching lesson tomorrow night. And then live trading Friday morning for premium. And then I don't believe I'm going to be at the end of week wrap up this week, but obviously I will be at the one next week. It's Memorial Day weekend. Yeah, that's a good question. What do you guys have for Memorial Day weekend? Anything fun? I got to go help with the party that's being thrown at my parents' hotel, so I'm going to be working that day. Any fun plans? Yard work? That's not fun. Nice, Sailor Brown. That's better than yard work. That's for sure. It's awesome. Here we go. Big bull. Little bounce here on PLTR. There you go, Jag. Double whammy. Over 60. Wow. Yeah, it's hot as hell here in Texas. I can tell you that right now. It's 92 right now. Barely, like, no clouds in the sky either, so it's just radiating. That's what it's called. Zoom it. Here we go. A little bouncer into the close. I like to see that. Would like to see things bounce overnight, man. I mean, I'm telling you guys, I was excited this week for some of these breakouts, but Taylor Brown, that seems kind of cold for you. I'll never forget being in Phoenix. It was 112. It's like, where am I? You're in New Hampshire on Rod? Yeah, break 100. Yeah, not good for the ice cream business. That's for sure. What a sell off, man. Jeez. I mean, NQ down almost 1.5%. Tesla down 2.5%. Nvidia is only down a little under 2%. UNH down 5. Yeah, that sounds about right, TK. Well, guys, got about 20 minutes left. Any questions here? These PLTR contracts, there they go. They're starting to gain a little value now. Hate seeing them down like that, but that's why you start small. See how this closes. If we can get up above 122, I'll probably hold it overnight. Give it one last day to make a move back above 125. Yeah, I know, right? I know. I keep checking Twitter. Let's do. I did not, Casey. I actually added to it a little bit earlier today, down in this dip. So my average price got brought down pretty nicely. But again, like risk wise, it all depends on what you're willing to lose. I'm still within my risk limit here, even with this drop. So I'm not going to give it a whole lot more room. I definitely need to see this back above 125 by the end of the week. If we just completely slice through, 120 and just start dumping, I'll just get out. But crypto's still going though. Looks like even with this news, it's like money's rotating there. Bitcoin hit all-time highs today. Did y'all see that? I think it was all-time high. Barely. It's kind of crazy. I'll tell you guys that I'm all the way out of that swing, but again, don't wait for me. Don't just hold that for no reason. Yeah, coin, that 270 level is what I was waiting on. We just fell all the way back down, but this is fine. That's another setup I'm looking at here. Break above 270, especially if Bitcoin goes for another run at the all-time high. That's going to be good. MSTR did decent today for a little bit, and I'm sure it sold off. Yeah, this looked like it was ready to go again. Above 450 on MSTR is where I'm going to be interested. Right? We had that huge move up, capitulation, pullback, chopped around here, rejected off 450 many times, pulled all the way back down. And so, back above, 430, this could get going. And then above 450, that's when things could get kind of fun. So see what happens. But back to PLTR, yeah, 120 is this like last support level. I gotta see hold. UNH bouncing a little bit. I mean, guys, Netflix is freaking green on the day. That's crazy. That might have another move tomorrow. Maybe we trade that tomorrow again. I don't know. Broke a little further than I wanted above 1200 with how bad the market was today, but it's regained pretty nicely so far. So got about 15 minutes left here in the day. I got to get off right at market close though to let Bull take over the earnings stream for you guys. See what you got, PLTR. Let's go. It sucks when you have good setups and then the overall market ruins ruins those setups. It's just part of it. That's part of being patient though. Luckily, PLTR does have volatility though when it could go. There was some defense news too this week that didn't really affect it, which is interesting to me. But with my average now above 125, I'll be green, I think, on the trade actually. Let me get a look here. For y'all that want to know what you need, use this site here. So yeah, I'll be green if we get back to 125 tomorrow. We break even around there. Actually, no. Yeah, I'll be pretty happy back above 125. So definitely want to see a bounce tomorrow. If we don't, I don't know how much more I'm going to give this. But again, don't just blindly follow me on swing trades like that. So we're starting to roll over a little bit again here on some things. Be an interesting close for sure. Ideally, we can get back in this area here. But yeah, any other questions, guys? Any tickers you want me to check out for y'all before I get out of here in about 13 minutes? And again here on futures. I don't know what to be looking at tomorrow. I would love to give you guys some ideas, but right now, I think we need to just kind of have a blank slate and just see where things are in the morning. Like I said, ideally we can get a bounce, but we'll see. Let's see, imbalances are going to come out here in 30 seconds, guys. So pay attention to futures here. 20 seconds. Looks like a buy so far. SPY popping. Not much, so it's kind of interesting. I thought there'd be bigger imbalances here. UNH sell. Netflix gapped up on the 1 minute. Jeez. Tesla green to red. Yeah, I did see some stuff on that Golden Dome stuff. I thought that would they talked about it yesterday, so I thought that would help PLTR. PLTR partnered with L3, that is yesterday, which is what I thought was a big deal. Shai talked about it on his Twitter, but yeah, I don't know. Market back down. Rebalancing will be in 2.5 minutes. Yeah, it was Lockheed Raytheon and the L3 company or whatever. That's what I saw. Market selling back off a little bit here. Gonna be an interesting close. 7 minutes for the close. Rebalancing a minute 30. Looks like things are flipping to a sell. But yeah, guys, 5 more minutes here with me. Again, any questions are welcome. If not, we'll just kind of hang out, watch how we close. Yeah, I did see that too. It's kind of crazy. Let's see, 30 seconds here. Little pop here. Oh, really? Nice. Very cool. Lockheed's down at 1% today, but yeah, it's just kind of been chilling here. What a day. What a day. Well, I'm going to wrap things up here in about 2 minutes, guys, because Bull is going to hop in here. Snow's dumping into the close. Wow. Yeah, look at that. Looks like we're going to close above 120 here on PLTR, so it's a very small positive sign. Bitcoin 108. Wow. Yeah, snow is earnings here in a little bit. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to wrap things up. I don't want to be in here when Bull gets going, so he's going to start here in about 2 minutes. So they'll have fun there. I'm going to get on with the day. And yeah, guys, let's try to finish this week strong. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Try to be unbiased until the open. I'll see you guys for live trading mañana. All righty. Bye-bye.